The story begins from a small town school where popularity ruled and gym class meant everything. One boy stood out for all the wrong reasons. He was round, slow, and always sweaty. No one passed him the ball, no one saved him a seat. Even the teacher sighed when he raised his hand, like just hearing his voice was a chore. Kids didn't call him by name. They called him Lump. At lunch, he sat alone. On field days, he was the joke. He once tried to run laps but got winded after 2 steps. They laughed so hard, some even filmed him. Lump's earthquake run, they joked. Watch out. Ground's shaking. But that kid wasn't lazy. At home, he had no snacks, no PlayStation, no cheering family. His mom worked double shifts, barely had time to say goodnight. His dad? Gone. Left behind an old wooden training dummy and a bunch of dusty martial arts scrolls. No note.
No goodbye.
Just faded ink and silent expectations. Still, the boy read those scrolls. They talked about something called focus energy, a strength you build with practice and control. Not magic, not power-ups, just effort, hours, sweat. He tried copying the moves when no one was looking, but his punches were weak, and his legs wobbled like noodles. Still, he didn't stop. Not completely, not yet. Then came the school competition. A sprint. Simple, right? But for him, it was a disaster waiting to happen. He lined up. Everyone giggled. Watch out. He might break the track, someone shouted. The whistle blew. They ran. He tried. But halfway through, he tripped. Face first into the dirt. His pants ripped. His pride shattered. Phones out. Videos posted. The comments exploded. Bro's a bowling ball. Did the earth just shake? He's still rolling. That night, he didn't cry. He just watched the video in silence. Again and again. His fists clenched. His jaw tight. Then, slowly, he stood up, walked out to the backyard, and faced the wooden dummy. His knuckles trembled. He raised his hand and slammed it forward. The wood thudded. But from heartbreak, I'm sorry, baby, she whispered. I can't afford your school anymore. We don't have money for fees, uniforms, even food. She wasn't blaming him. She was breaking, and that hurt more than any laugh. Then came the phone call from her brother. The uncle. Cold voice, short sentences. I'll take him. He can help at my gym. Just send him up here. The gym wasn't a big deal. It was old, hidden in the mountains, and barely had customers. The uncle didn't say it, but the boy knew this wasn't an invite. It was a way to dump him. No farewell dinner, no hugs. Just a quiet room. One small bag, and his dad's scroll tucked deep inside. The next morning, he stood at the bus stop alone. The driver opened the door, looked him up and down, and chuckled. Hope the brakes work. The boy didn't reply. He just climbed aboard, stared out the window, and held that scroll tight against his chest. No friends. No snacks. No phone. Nothing but silence and the sound of wheels on old tracks. He didn't cry. He didn't sleep. He just whispered to himself, I won't stay weak forever. It wasn't a scream or a shout. Just a promise. Like planting a seed in stone, and somewhere deep inside him, a fire started to burn. Not a loud one. Not yet, but it would grow. And when it did, the world would remember his name not as a joke, but as a champion. The bus wheezed to a stop in front of a building that looked abandoned. Peeling paint, rusty gate, a sign that read Steel Fist Gym barely hanging on by one screw. He stepped off the bus, bags slung over one shoulder, eyes wide. This can't be it, but it was. The gym creaked when he pushed open the door. Inside, dust thicker than fog, ripped mats, broken dumbbells, and on the floor, his uncle shirtless, snoring with an empty bottle rolling beside him. About time you got here, the man grunted without opening his eyes. Sweep the place. No welcome, no help, just chores. That night, hungry and alone, the boy climbed into the attic. And there, covered in cobwebs, were boxes. Inside, faded photos of his father, dressed in a crisp GI, striking a pose mid-air like a legend. Old manuals with scribbled notes. A leather-bound logbook with one line on every page. Focus energy is built, not given. He didn't fully get it, but it sparked something. The next morning, he stood in the middle of the gym, took a deep breath, and whispered, let's try. 1 push-up, then 2, then collapse. His arms shook like jelly. Sweat dripped into his eyes. He wheezed so loud even the rats paused. But he got up, ran outside, did 5 squats, fell again. He taped his torn shoes with duct tape, picked up a broken stick like a sword, and practiced swings from the scroll. He failed. A lot. He slipped. He coughed. He cried. But he never quit. Each night, he wrote in a beat-up notebook. Day 1 fell. Day 2 fell again. Day 3 couldn't breathe. Day 4 did one full push-up. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't fast. But it was real. No shortcuts. No cheat codes. Just pain, practice, and pure grit. And slowly, something changed. His arms didn't shake as much. His legs stopped wobbling after squats. And when he looked in the mirror, still chubby, still sweaty, but his eyes, they had a spark. Focus energy wasn't magic. It was effort. And this boy, he was just getting started. Every weekend, the nearby village held a wild little challenge. Beat the local champ, they said, and you eat free for a week. But the champ wasn't some legend, just a loudmouth teen with biceps like basketballs and a face that screamed troublemaker. Everyone called him Brick, and he called our boy something worse. Hey, dumpling boy, he laughed, tossing a peach pit at his head. Wanna try? I'll give you one punch for free. People laughed. Our boy didn't. He stepped into the circle, shoes still taped, arms trembling just a little. The bell rang, clang, bam. Brick charged like a rhino and slammed him into the dirt. The crowd roared. Is that it? Brick cackled. You done already? But our boy stood up. He remembered the scroll, the training, the words. Focus energy is built, not given. And suddenly his eyes locked in. He dodged. For the first time ever, he slipped past Brick's fist like a shadow. What the? Brick blinked. Then wham! A low kick to the knee. Clean, sharp, real. Brick stumbled. The crowd went silent. The boy didn't follow up. He didn't need to. Brick stood up and limped away, red-faced and muttering. Lucky shot, dumpling. But everyone saw it. The dodge, the hit, the moment. One old man clapped. Then another. Then the whole market was cheering. Free noodles for the week. Kid, the cook yelled, slapping a bowl into his hands. He didn't know what tasted better, the noodles or the respect. He walked home that day not like a hero, but like someone who might become one. No more hiding. No more shame. Just one win. But it was enough to light the fire. And trust me, he was just getting started. The village was finally getting used to him. The once dumpling boy, now known as the noodle kicker. He had fans now. He had meals. He had confidence. Then one day, a black car rolled up near the gym. Out stepped him, the rich kid from the old school. Slick hair, shiny shoes, and eyes that screamed trouble. He walked like he owned the place, and maybe he did. Well, he smirked, tossing his coat. Still rolling around in dirt, huh? Our boy froze for a second. That voice hit like a slap, but then he stood tall. Nah, he said. I stand now. News spread fast. The village champ had a new challenger. A real match. No warm-up. No mercy. The crowd circled in. The rival cracked his neck. Let's see if those noodles gave you power. Bam! The fight exploded like firecrackers. Punches flew. Kicks clashed. One slip and you were down. Our boy dodged, blocked, even landed a clean jab. But the rival was fast like lightning in sneakers. And his technique? Sharp like a sword. Wham! Our boy took a hit to the ribs. He dropped, but didn't stay down. Blood dripped from his nose, sweat in his eyes, legs shaky like noodles in soup. But he kept fighting. One more swing. One more dodge. Until finally he collapsed.
Gaudi.
The rival didn't gloat, didn't laugh. Instead, he knelt beside him. You're not the same crybaby from school, he said. Train harder. You might be worth fighting again someday. Then he walked off, leaving silence behind. And then, clap. One old man. Then more. The whole crowd clapped, not because he won, but because he fought like a warrior. That night, as he held an ice pack to his face, he smiled through the pain. This wasn't the end. This was the start of a new promise. Next time, I won't lose. And boom, just like that, his next goal was born. The rivalry was real now. And dude, it was on. He lost the fight, but won something way more powerful. A reason to rise again. The very next morning, before the rooster even thought about waking up, our boy was already out the door.
No warm-ups. No excuses.
Just him, a mountain trail, and two massive rocks strapped to his back like some kind of budget superhero. If I can't beat him now, I'll outwork him tomorrow, he muttered. And so the grind began. He climbed barefoot over sharp stones. He punched trees until his knuckles split. He ran up hills till his lungs burned like firecrackers. Every step was pain. Every swing was shaky. But he kept going. Day 8 fell. Got up. Fell again. His notebook filled up like a war diary, one line at a time. Then came the breakthrough. He punched, and this time the bark cracked. He ran, and this time the wind couldn't keep up. Something clicked. It wasn't magic. It was focus energy. See, focus energy isn't some glowing power-up. It's trained strength, like knowing how to breathe, move, and strike at the same time. It's effort, stacked on effort, until even your sweat has discipline. One evening, while doing push-ups with rocks on his back, his uncle stood at the door, bottle in hand. He squinted, snorted. "You're still at it?" No reply, just push-up after push-up after push-up. Finally, the uncle dropped the bottle, sat on the porch, and said, "You got your dad's fire. Don't waste it." For the first time, something shifted. The next morning, the uncle was there, no bottle, just a whistle. "Speed drills. Let's go." And just like that, a new chapter began. Dodging rocks while blindfolded. Sprinting up cliffs with buckets of water. Balancing on one leg for hours while holding sticks. This wasn't just training, it was crazy grandpa-level training. But the boy didn't back down. He stumbled. He sweated buckets. He even fell in a stream once and yelled, "Why is this water so cold?" His uncle just laughed. "Good. Means your body's waking up." Weeks passed. His arms got solid. His feet moved faster than a squirrel on soda. And his eyes? They didn't just look determined anymore. They glowed not with light, but with confidence. He still had a long way to go, but for the first time he looked in the mirror and saw a fighter. The real kind. And this time he wasn't going back, because next time, he wouldn't just fight. He'd win. So after all that mountain training, guess what comes next? A fight. But not just any fight, an underground tournament. One evening, while the boy was still doing push-ups with one hand and munching stale bread with the other, a scout showed up. Leather jacket. Sunglasses. Big energy. "You want to be taken seriously?" he said. "Win here. Where's here?" "Underground ring."
No gloves. No merci.
The uncle frowned. "It's dirty business." But the boy? He just tightened the laces on his taped-up shoes and nodded. "I'm in." Tournament day. Dim lights. Smell of sweat. No rules but one. Stand or fall. Dozens of fighters from other villages and dojos filled the place. Guys with tattoos, scars, and chins like bricks. When our boy stepped in, they laughed. Is he lost? Where's his mom? He just stood there, chubby, quiet, fists taped like duct-tape dumplings. Ding! The bell rang. And just like that, boom! He dodged the first punch like a ninja on coffee. Slid under a roundhouse. Sweep! The other guy hit the floor so fast, even gravity was surprised. The crowd gasped. First fight done. Second fight, taller dude, fast with his kicks. The boy took a hit, blood from his lip, but he smirked. "You're fast," he said, "but I'm focused." Then he focused his energy, remember, not magic, just trained power. Pow! A clean hit to the ribs. Bam! A low sweep to the shin. Second win done. Now things got real. Fight 3, a guy from a real dojo. Black belt. Smug smile. Go home, mountain kid. First round? Brutal. Our boy got slammed into the mat. Bloodied. Dizzy. But he got up. 1 step. 2 steps. Crack. A spinning elbow straight to the dude's side. Even the ref looked shocked. Somehow, the quiet boy made it to the finals. Now, no one laughed. They cheered. Mountain kid. Mountain kid. He limped into the last match. His legs wobbled. His arms shook. But his eyes? Laser focus. His opponent? The reigning champ. Built like a bear. "This is your stop, rookie." The bell rang. And our boy? He smiled. Because no matter what happened now, he wasn't the same scared kid anymore. He had trained. He had bled. And now he had the crowd shouting his name. The lights dimmed. The crowd roared. Our boy stood in the ring, bruised, tired, barely able to lift his arms. And then, he stepped in. The final opponent, a giant, tall like a tree, muscles like steel, eyes like a wolf. He cracked his neck and smirked. "You're the meme fighter, right? Let's make this quick." The bell rang. Wham! The first hit landed like a truck. Our boy flew across the ring, slammed into the wall. The crowd gasped. The uncle clenched his fist. But the boy didn't stay down. He coughed, shook it off, just like the mountain. He remembered every fall, every time he slipped climbing rocks, every punch to trees until his knuckles bled. He breathed in. He focused energy, the strength he trained, not magic. He stood up. The monster charged again. Boom! Another slam. Thud. Another toss. But this time the boy rolled with it, dodged the follow-up punch. Then, pop! He landed a clean jab. Then a second. Then a fast combo, left, right, left. The giant growled, "You little!" But something had changed. He wasn't just a kid in taped-up shoes anymore. He was reading the rhythm, seeing the moves before they came. "You're strong," the boy said, "but you're not trained." The monster roared and threw a wild hook. But the boy, he ducked, slipped under the arm, spun around. Boom! A perfect counterpunch straight to the jaw. The arena went silent. Then the giant dropped. Crash. No one moved. Then chaos. The crowd exploded. "Mountain Kid! Mountain Kid!" The uncle stood, tears in his eyes. "You did it." He had done it. He didn't cheat. He didn't get lucky. He trained. He fought. And he won. The scout clapped slowly. "He's not a joke anymore. He's a fighter." Reporters asked for his name. But the boy just smiled. "I'm nobody special," he said. "I just don't quit." He walked out of that ring not as the fat kid, but as a champion, a fighter. And this was just the beginning. The fight was over, but the real storm was just starting. Someone posted the tournament clip online, and boom, it went viral overnight. 1 minute he was Mountain Kid. The next, he was the champion nobody saw coming. TV shows started calling. News anchors couldn't stop replaying his final punch.
A hubitin beats a pro?
"This kid's a legend." Brands offered deals. "Wear our shoes and we'll pay you big." Big schools begged him to join. "We'll make you the face of our dojo." Even the bullies, those jerks, sent him friend requests like nothing happened. But he didn't forget. He looked at his uncle, the man who yelled, trained, and believed in him. "Thanks for not giving up on me." He didn't let the fame get to his head. Didn't take the shortcut. Didn't chase easy money. Instead, he trained harder. Morning runs, barefoot climbs, blindfolded dodges in the forest again. His focus energy got sharper, like slicing air with a stick. Then one day he walked into the old neighborhood, to a small house with peeling paint, and knocked. His mom opened the door. She gasped, not because he was famous, but because he stood straight, strong, confident. He hugged her tight. "I'm gonna give you a better life soon, Mom. Just wait for me," she cried. He smiled. He turned around. The city lights were calling him. So were offers and fame and fake friends. But he kept walking. "I still have a long way to go." Because this wasn't the end. This was just his first win. Just one step in a bigger fight. And next time, he won't be the underdog. He'll be the target. Let the world come for him. He's ready. Things were finally calm. The fame, the fights, the noise, it all settled. He was back in the gym, dripping sweat, fists flying, focus sharp like a blade. His kicks cracked the air. His punches shook the mitts. Then, the door creaked open. An old man stepped in, gray hair, long coat, serious eyes. He didn't say much, just stood, watched, silent. After the boy finished his set, the man finally spoke. "You fight like someone I knew." "Who?" the boy asked. The man stepped closer. "Your father." Time froze. The boy blinked. "My dad left when I was a baby." The man shook his head. "No, he didn't leave. He vanished. He was battling a hidden martial arts clan. And he never came back." A chill hit the room. A clan. That meant serious fighters. Teams trained in ancient techniques. The boy looked down at his hands. He had strength now. But this was something else. A new path opened. Not fame. Not trophies. But truth. "Where do I find them?" the boy asked. The man just smiled and walked away. The boy stood there alone in the gym, his fists clenched tight, his breath slow, his eyes burning. He turned toward the window, looking at the faraway mountains. "If winning here was hard, what's coming next might break me. But I'm ready." The screen fades to black.